Hey everybody, welcome to 30 Days with Jake. I'm Jake and this is my cigarette-free challenge. If you enjoy watching these videos, click the like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already so you can be notified every time I upload a video. Okay, so today is day number 9. Already 9 days into this 30 days journey, and if you've been watching, if you've been keeping up, you know that it's been a struggle, and if you've seen the last video, you know that I've been smoking cigarettes. So also, like in the last video, I mentioned that I wasn't doing it for me completely. I tried to quit cold turkey for you guys watching because I felt it'd be more motivational, more inspirational. Hey, you know, he quit on this day. He just did it. And like how in a previous video my dad mentions that you can't do it for yourself, otherwise it's not going to last. So I also want to take it a step further and make sure that I do quit for a long time, that I do not pick it up ever again. And how I'm going to do that is by planning exactly down to the last detail of a way, of a method, of a technique that's going to work for me and that's going to stay in place. But before I get to it, I do want to mention a funny story of mine. Around when I was 17, I had stayed for a summer out of state, and there was a friend of mine that lived there. We'll call him Terry. So Terry, his mom had this job where they were able to stay at, and so this one time we got in his mom's car, and we had bought a pack of cigarettes, and we decided to hotbox his mom's car with cigarettes. It was you know, it it was really stupid, and looking back, you know, it's stuff you do as a kid, you know. I just thought I'd share that with you, and also mention another story. I think it'd be cool to include different times where I've quit and what's helped me and what hasn't. So one of the times that did help me was that I had bought a pack and I was going through something emotional, and the park I mentioned in an earlier video, that's where I was. We lived in a house that was next to a park. It had it was like a raised lawn, right? And the front yard kind of overlooked the park a little bit. It was about like a 5-foot height. It was raised like 5 feet. And so we lived next to the park, and a lot of memories at that park. But one of them that I do remember was I had bought a pack, and there were a bunch of times when I'd go to that park, and right next to the park was a bike trail, you know, where my dad would go running and I'd go walking and skating, and we'd cross over to go to the movie theaters. And there were times where I'd go down the bike trail and I'd smoke, you know, if I knew that my dad was home or anybody was home that might look over. Because there was a time when it's like I knew my dad would be checking up on me, and if he knew it was at the house, you know, he would look all over inside the rooms and try and find me, and then he'd go to the park if I wasn't there, you know. So then I knew better, and I would try and hide it by going to the bike trail. But this one time I bought a pack, I'm at the park, I'm on a bench, and I was feeling some kind of way. I had smoked almost the whole pack in like 20 or 30 minutes. It was a short amount of time, and for those of you who know, you know I was puffing, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just drag, like the entire time, not stopping, not breaking, not taking a breather, you know. And that last cigarette that I smoked, I didn't finish the whole pack, you know. But that last cigarette, like, I felt so sick, and I threw up, and I was sick for days. I was sick for days, and I was so sick that for 2 years the smell of cigarettes, it made me nauseous. So that was my story of when I quit for 2 years, was that I smoked a pack so quickly that it got me sick. And and I've thought of doing it again, but I don't like getting sick. I don't like throwing up, but that's something that I did, and that's something that works. So today is day 9, and the cigarette of the day is love and family. So I want to talk a little bit about that, a little bit about motives, and motives for quitting, motives for the things that we do. Motive is so essential to making plans, especially plans on following through something, or plans on getting rid of a habit. What moves you? So you have to really ask yourself, why is it that you do a certain thing? Motive is so important when making choices in life. When you make plans, when you do something out of spontaneity, it's so important to have a strong motive, because that's what makes or breaks the experience. And with quitting cigarettes, you have to have such a strong motive that it doesn't allow you the thought to have the urges to smoke another cigarette. And the thing is, we look at the situations in our life, how we've been conditioned since childhood, the environment that we live in, and how it shapes our lives. And it gives us a better understanding of motivation, our motivation. So yeah, even though we have no control over how we were conditioned, how we grew up, where we grew up, and who surrounded us, we do have the choice now. We do have the choice now to take control of our life, to take control of our present situation, to take control over who we surround ourselves with, because that is so important. And that's why family is so important to have with you, to have around you. And family doesn't have to be blood. It can be those outside of your... It can be those who are close to you, those who care about you, and those who love you and want the best for you and are there for you when you're going through tough times. So no matter how you were conditioned, no matter how you grew up, no matter how you were raised, you are in charge. You are in charge. No one can be blamed for who you are now. Only you are responsible for yourself. So I'm excited. I'm excited that even though I'm still smoking cigarettes, I'm coming up with a plan that is going to be in place and going to keep me from thinking of cigarettes. Because the thing is that you got to keep busy. If you're trying to get rid of an addiction, trying to get rid of a habit, let's say that you're in a situation. Let's say that something's happened in your life, and you're feeling depressed. You're feeling anxious. You're feeling urges to smoke cigarettes, to smoke weed, to drink alcohol, to have sex, to eat. You get these urges to do things that defile your body, that defile your mind, that defile your spirit. But you are in control. You always have been. So I have things that have worked for me, and things may work differently for you. But for me, it helps when I keep busy. For me, it helps when I get a job. For me, it helps when I make money. For me, it helps when I change my appearance. For me, it helps when I travel, when I take a vacation, when I get out of where I'm from, when I go and live somewhere else. But that's the thing, is that it doesn't work all the time, because it's all about what your mental state is in. Because when you have a problem, when you have something that comes up that doesn't feel good, that makes you feel uncomfortable, that makes you feel uneasy, and you decide to buy a new home, you decide to go live out of state, to visit out of state, to buy a new car, start a new life, Your problems are going to follow you wherever you go, unless you deal with it, unless you talk about it, unless you handle it in the right, appropriate manner. It's never going to go away. So for me, I've battled so much my entire life. For these last 7, 8, 9, 10 years, things have gotten worse for me. At least in my mind. At least in my mind. I've handled it, and I've handled it the way that I've handled it, and I'm not proud of the things that I've done, and I've made my mistakes. But it's all in here. You see, the mind is such a powerful thing. It's such a powerful tool for us to use or for us to abuse. The mind is so powerful. We're able to change our very thoughts, change our very futures, change our present situations. We may not be able to change circumstances. We may not be able to change the weather, change the world, change the people around us, but we can start with changing ourselves and living a life that we talk about, living a life that sets an example for other people around us. So for me, I'm going to be changing. I'm going to be changing my habits, changing my daily routines. I woke up a couple hours ago. You know, I work until 5 in the morning and then I get a few hours of sleep. So I woke up a couple hours ago. I'm going to start working out. I'll let you know when I do. So I'm excited about coming up with this plan that is going to keep me from thinking about the urge to smoke cigarettes, from having urges to smoke cigarettes. And it's about keeping busy. What is that saying? Idleness is the devil's playground? I don't know, something like that. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click that like button, share it, comment down below about what you're thinking, about how you feel, about what you're going through, any questions you may have. So let me know what you would like me to address in a future video, and if you have any ideas for Cigarettes of the Day, submit it, and maybe it'll be up in the next video. And thank you for joining me. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can be notified when I upload videos. I'm here, I'm waiting, I'm ready. I'll see you tomorrow.